Hajj, Assalamu alaikum. Hajj is something that is pretty big when it comes to Islamic eschatology that we talk about in this channel. By the way, if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing because we only talk about end of time, Yajuj and Majuj, the coming of Dajjal, the Mahdi. So again, if you're new here, consider subscribing if you are interested in these topics. Some people, they say I have some kind of like a syndrome that I only talk about these topics, even though I made it very clear in the past that I will be talking about these topics only. The person, his comment was, I will show you the comment inshallah in a second. But again, if you're new here, consider subscribing. We only talk about this topic. So Hajj, dear my sisters, it has a significant role to play when it comes to the end of time. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he actually mentioned the Hajj, the event of Hajj, with the coming of Dajjal, the Khuruj Dajjal, لا يحج البيت ولا يؤتمرن بعد خروج يأجوج ومأجوج. The hadith was reported in, I believe, Sahih al-Muslim. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu reported, Rasulullah said that people will continue لا يحج البيت, they will continue to perform Hajj even after the emergence of Yajuj and Majuj. In other words, Hajj is something that is very, very significant that Rasulullah has mentioned when he mentioned Yajuj and Majuj. And we also find, dear brothers and sisters, that Rasulullah in another hadith, he said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يحج البيت. Rasulullah said that the hour will not be established until the Hajj will stop. So Hajj will be abandoned at one point. At that point, we know the coming of the hour will take place. We know Makkah, Medina, both will be empty. Before the end of time, both Makkah and Medina will be empty because nobody will be doing any ibadah. The reason we know about Makkah and Medina, the reason these places are so sacred and holy to the Muslims is because of the worship that is taking place right now. Other than that, these cities are really not known for anything else other than worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. So this event of Hajj has a lot to do with the end of time. That's my point. Now what we know, dear brothers and sisters, is that Saudi Arabia, they have said we will not be allowing anybody from outside, not from Saudi Arabia, but from outside to do Hajj. And they have limited the capacity to 60,000 citizens and residents. We know that normally 2/3 of the world Hajj, the 2/3 of the people who go to Hajj every year, 2/3, okay, are foreigners. People from Asia, India, Pakistan, Australia, Canada, US, from all over the world. And 1/3 are the people of Saudi, and most of them are security personnel and medical staff, okay? So this is how these, the pilgrim, the ethnicity, the originality of these pilgrims will make up. Normally that's what is the case, but this time they said no, 60,000 pilgrim we will take, and there will be no more pilgrim in this year. We have seen, dear brothers and sisters, last year and the year before, I believe, there was no people allowed from outside Saudi Arabia, and this is what they're doing right now. And they said you have to be at the same time, not only that you are from Saudi, but you have to be between the age of 18 to 65. And the main reason they're saying we are limiting this is because of the variant, okay, COVID variant they're finding. So the question is, why it is happening? Should we blame Saudi Arabia for this? Absolutely not. It is not their fault. We should not be blaming them for doing this. However, what we should be blaming too, is, dear sisters, is ourselves. A lot of the time we have seen people are committing sins. We are not probably fitting. Our spirituality has gone down. Our connection with Allah has probably gone down to a point, maybe the lowest point possible. Perhaps that's why Allah is not calling us to his house. I'm going to be playing this video to you of this sister, and then inshallah we can make few more comments.
Alhamdulillah, I'm accepted today for special Hajj. I feel like it's a blessing from Allah to me before I leave Saudi for good. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
As you can see, dear brothers and sisters, this sister, she was very emotional because she was able to make Hajj. Looks like other people, they were crying too. They believed that this is something, a huge blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. And a lot of people, a lot of the Muslims, they're looking forward to go for Hajj. But this year, as I said, you cannot go to Hajj if you are not from Saudi Arabia. That's what it looks like. The situation is right now.
وبركاته حقيقة والله أنني سعيد جدا على حصولي على هذه
Okay,
الفرصة.
so inshallah, the other thing that I also want to mention is the one that I told you in the beginning of this video, is that this channel is only for end of time, and no matter what you call, what you tell me about what I'm doing, it will not change the fact that this channel, I will only talk about the end of time. One brother, I found this question, he asked me this question, but before I go on to this question and answer that, I want to show you the comment that I found to be very, very unpleasant, to say the least. If you don't agree with me on something, you should not be rude. You can disagree on anything and everything. I don't mind and I don't care. But you should not be rude to people. And I'm not saying you should not be rude to me. You can be rude to me. I don't care. It doesn't get under my skin. However, when you are rude to me, I would have the reason to believe that you are also rude to your sister, your mother, your family. You are rude to other people as well. So I am going to be showing some of these comments occasionally, just so that you are aware that this can be really dangerous. This kind of behavior is not welcoming, and as believer we should not be doing this. And he said that I'm suffering from end of time syndrome, and very, very unpleasant. For the last 2 years he is following me, and then he says I only talk about end of time sign when I see something natural phenomena, like the sun, the solar eclipse and things like that. And then he said I'm looking for subhanallah, like people have so many different weird opinion about me. And even though I made it absolutely clear, this is end of time channel. I study end of time. I'm not here somebody who's curious. I study end of time, and I'm doing it for the last 5-6 years. Okay, continuously. I have alhamdulillah, whole bunch of hadith collection. I don't talk from my own opinion. I have a whole bunch of Quran ayat that I can relate to. So I'm not someone who is curious. I don't call myself a sheikh or a scholar, but I spend a lot of time studying end of time science, hadith and Quran. So if you say I have this syndrome and that syndrome, I'm sorry. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. This is what I love to do the most. There is nothing else I love to do more than this, perhaps. Obviously, I also love to share ayat from the Quran sometimes as a reminder, but end of time is what I want to be known for, inshallah. And if you don't agree with me, you can more than welcome to go somewhere else and unsubscribe from my channel if you're not into end of time. Okay, so the Hajj that I mentioned to you, dear brothers and sisters, is something that would continue on even the coming of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to answer this question. The brother asked a very good question, and he said that did the Prophet ﷺ, okay, I'll show you the question. So he asked this question, the brother, he asked this question: did our Prophet missed to hint us about the oil-based Middle East economy, or did we not understand from our Prophet? Okay, so he was asking this question about the Euphrates River. I said the Euphrates River, yushikul Furat ayyahsira an kanzin min dhahab faman hadaru fala yakhuz minhu shay'a. Okay, that was the hadith that I said. And so the brother, he said, well, if you don't say that that gold, kanzun min dhahab, the treasure of gold would not be treasure of gold, rather it is the oil. He said, did our Prophet also miss the point? Did he not understand that Middle East economy will be based on oil? Why he then not mention oil, or did we miss something? Obviously he's not complaining about the hadith, but he's just asking a question and he wants an answer. Okay, so when we talk about any hadith, according to the scholars of hadith that I have studied, and even my sheikh, he said that you should never take any hadith metaphorically until it is proven metaphorically. So for example, there was a fire that came to Asham. People at that time, there was a hadith, actually there was a prophecy, there was a prophecy that there will be a fire in Asham, I believe, and it will people will see it. The neck of the camel will be seen by people. This is how huge the fire would be. So people did not know what the hadith was talking about until they found out there was a volcano. Okay, there was a volcano, and so people then understood, okay, so hadith meant the volcano. Okay, so if, for example, Dajjal comes and he has a donkey with 2 years, long years, 60 cubit, I believe, that's the measurement. If he comes with, if he comes on a plane instead of a donkey, then we say yes, the hadith meant it is plane, not donkey. But until that is proven, we cannot say this is definitely the plane. And one brother, he was joking. He said, he was mocking me actually. He said, "Oh, so you want to wait until he comes with on a donkey and find out the hadith?" I'm like, wow, subhanallah, look at this person's mind. How on earth should I wait for Dajjal to see whether he comes on a donkey, on a plane, or on a plane? Why should I even do that? I am taking the hadith literally right now because I do not know. Allahu alam. And so this person was mocking and saying that, oh, so you want to wait until he comes and then you prove? And then, subhanAllah, he said something even horrible. He said, I will expose you. I'm like, okay, go ahead and expose me. Expose me to the whole world. Saying that this brother, he does not interpret hadith according to his opinion. Go and tell people. I have no problem. I'll be very proud of that, because this is a matter of Aqidah. You believe in hadith and Quran, you have to have solid understanding, and your Aqidah has to be very, very strong. So again, I am not going to be someone who will listen to what you have to say. I am going to be listening what the scholars they have mentioned, what my sheikh is mentioning, and what I'm studying. That's it. Clear cut. Okay, so this brother, he's asking this question about the oil in Saudi Arabia. Economy is based on oil. Did the Prophet missed it? No. I said this in my other video when I was talking about the Euphrates River, okay, the Furat River. As we know, this river has a tendency of drying out completely. Wallahi, it can dry out. You will go there and think. I have seen it on several pictures. Maybe inshallah one day I will make a trip there. I will go and see myself. It has a tendency of drying out completely. And you will think, well, the gold, kanzun min zahab is coming out right now. The mountain of gold is here. And then the next thing you know is that Allah will send down rain. This is happening. But one thing, that doesn't mean that the prophecy will not be fulfilled soon. We never say that, because the prophecy is very, very clear. Yushikul Furat, that it will happen soon. Yushikul, as I explained in my other video, Yushikul basically means it is about to happen. So anytime we see this Euphrates River is drying out, we have to be prepared for the end of time. We have to be prepared for the end of time all the time. But especially when you see these things, when you see the river is drying out, you are going to take extra precaution for the end of time. It can happen, because Yushikul here is referring it will happen soon. So the oil that was mentioned, so the oil and when we talk about oil, okay, let's talk about the oil. Saudi is the only country, wallahi, that is depending heavily on oil. As I said in my other video, UAE, they are the second largest economy, if not the first largest economy. I'm not sure if Saudi is the first or UAE is the second. I'm not sure. But these two countries are the biggest economy in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia is the only country that depends on the oil money. UAE, they do not depend on oil money. UAE depend on port business. Every time we think about oil money, we think about the whole Middle East. No, it is not. Yes, Iraq has oil. Yes, Syria, other countries, they have oil, but they don't depend on oil. In fact, they don't depend on anything, because these other countries, they have lost their currencies, Syria and Iraq. But Saudi Arabia, they depend on oil money. When we talk about oil money, we only talk about Saudi Arabia right now. Iraq, Syria, Asham, they have lost their currencies. Right now, those oil don't even belong to them. It belongs to the foreigners. Wallahi, this is very unfortunate, but this is what is happening right now. Okay, so if oil-based economy, Saudi Arabia, let's say for the sake of argument also Iraq and other countries, is something that is happening, but the Prophet did not mention, did he miss out on something? No. The oil-based economy, the oil that is found in the Middle East, okay, has nothing to do with what will be found in Euphrates River when the mountain of gold will be revealed. It has nothing to do, zero connection. Zero connection. Why? Because oil is oil, and when they will find the gold is the ultimate sign, okay, ayah from Allah Azza wa Jal of the coming of the Mahdi, Dajjal, the end of time. So the gold that will be revealed, it is a miraculous event, okay. In other words, the gold is a supernatural, miraculous event. If you go around and go to the Euphrates River, there is no mountain of gold there. Otherwise, people will dig, people will try to find out. So where this mountain of gold will come out? It is by the qadr, by the decree, by the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, that one day you will go and see the mountain of gold appear out of nowhere. This is the miracle of the end of time. For goodness sake, understand this simple concept. The oil money is the oil that is found. It's not miraculous because oil can be found anywhere. It's not, in fact, in Middle East, oil can be found in Africa, in Europe, North America. US has a lot of oil. This is not miracle. The miracle of the end of time, one of the ultimate miracles of end of time, is that the gold of mountain will appear. Has nothing to do with the oil that we see today. So oil money, gold money, no, they are not same. However, I must say again, and as I said in the past, if the end of time gold is being considered as the oil, and the Mahdi is here, the Dajjal is here, then we can say no, the Hadith meant oil. But right now, as I said, I'll maintain my position as I did, that there is no connection between these two. But that doesn't mean I will not change my position if something happens otherwise, because I do not know the end of time. I do not know when it will happen, how it will happen. But now I have to say that the gold means a separate incident, and then the oil money that we see today. So the brother, he said, did the Prophet? No, he did not. The Prophet ﷺ was not focused on Saudi oil money or UAE oil money or Iraq oil money. He was not focused. In fact, when it comes to mal, wealth, he said, I fear for my ummah more than anything else is the wealth, okay, money. He said, this is a big fitna for my ummah. I don't fear for them poverty, I fear for them wealth. So the Prophet, he indirectly indicated that you guys will find some natural resources underneath your lands, and that will make you rich, and I fear that richness is going to make it worse for your situation. And wallahi, the reason today we have so much fitna in the Middle East is because of the oil. If there is no oil, nobody will care. I mean, just like the Byzantine Empire, the Roman, the Persian empires, they did not care about Saudi Arabia. They did not care about Mecca and Medina, because there was nothing there. It was barren. Today, everyone wants to go there, find out what is there. Subhanallah, the fire brigade, I think. They want to find out what's happening there is because of the oil money, nothing else. Kuwait has also oil money, and Qatar and many other countries. But again, dear my sisters, the economy of these Middle Eastern countries, they're now shifting to more like other source of revenue and income and GDP growth. I have few comments here that I can address. I do not have much time left, but Duda Yusuf, okay, so let's see. Abshir, assalamu alaikum, alaikum assalam. Khalid Mit, it is official. Is it official? Yes, Khalid Miftah, yes, this is official. Amish Raz, Hajj will be performed, but only, yes, that is correct. Hajj will be performed. Muhammad Qasim has successfully fooled 40 people. Duda Yusuf, no Hajj this year could means the bait of Imam Mahdi is near, just around the corner. No, it is not, because Hajj will continue on, as I mentioned the Hadith. La yuhajj al-bayt. The Hajj will be continued even when the Yajuj and Majuj will be here. So it has nothing to do. Stopping Hajj, the ultimate abandonment of Hajj will take place before the end of time. But right now, no. Even after the Yajuj and Majuj, it will still continue on. Galilee Sea drying, Hussein. It is drying again, as I said, but sometimes they have rain. Alifa Khan hasn't Dajjal. Hajj isn't cancelled but limited. That is correct. Hajj is not cancelled or banned, is limited only to Saudi Arabia people. I heard that Allah gave this ummah one day, 1,000 years, but because of Prophet. Okay, that is something I do not know. Any hadith that the ummah will live for 1,500 years. That is something people ask me about, but I have no hadith collection on this, that the ummah lifespan will be 1,500 years. Galilee Sea drying. Again, you have to go there and find out. Assalamu alaikum. Syed Adrian, wait, so only Saudi Arabian can do Hajj? Yes, the only people who can do Hajj this year is Saudi Arabian people, not outsiders. Assalamu alaikum. You have more question, email me or leave a comment in the comment section. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.